This is an introduction to some basic formulas used for calculating interest. The simple interest formula is the most basic way of calculating interest. This is when interest is not compounding. If one were to borrow $500 at a rate of 4% for 1 year's time, if the interest were calculated using the simple interest formula, we would simply take that 500, multiply it by the rate, which converted to a decimal would be 0.04, and then multiply that by the number of years. So 500 times 0.04 times 1 would just be $20 of interest that accumulates. Compounding interest is a different scenario. Compounding interest is a situation where we earn interest on the interest that has been earned. So let's consider the scenario where interest compounds n times a year. And let's let this number line be such that we have time is equal to 0 at the beginning and time is equal to 1 year at the end. And each of these tick marks represents a compounding period. Let's consider this from an investment standpoint this time. If we start off with an initial principal, at the end of the first compounding period, we would earn some interest, and that principal would then grow up to be a larger amount. But now we have a larger amount in the bank. And for the second compounding period, now we're calculating interest on interest. And so this is a scenario that we would call compounding interest. There are two main formulas that we're going to use to calculate compounding interest. One is where we have n different compounding periods in a year, and the other is that we're compounding continuously, which is when there are no gaps in that compounding cycle. Let's identify some of the variables that are going to be used in these formulas. We have A, which represents the maturity value or end amount. Essentially, this is what the initial principal grows up to be. And that brings us to P, which is the initial principal, or the amount that was initially invested or borrowed. R is the annual interest rate, and we are going to be focusing on the amount of interest that accrues in 1 year. We will need to make sure that those interest rates are converted to a decimal. The value N only shows up in this first formula. It represents the number of compounding periods in 1 year. So if the account compounds monthly, N would be 12, which means there are 12 compounding periods in that 1 year. If the account compounds interest quarterly, then N would be 4 because there are 4 compounding periods in 1 year. And then T is going to represent the amount of time in years. So let's look at an example. We're asked to find the maturity value when you invest $4,000 in an account for 10 years with 7% annual interest. Then we're asked to compound that interest quarterly, monthly, and continuously. For part A and B, we're going to be using the formula A is equal to P times 1 plus R over N raised to the NT. This is the formula that we would use when we're compounding N times a year. When compounding quarterly, we'll have 4 compounding periods in a year, so N will be equal to 4. When compounding monthly, we'll have 12 compounding periods in a year, so N will be 12. So for part A, we're asked to find the maturity value, which is A. So that's our unknown quantity, and we'll hold that spot with just the A. The initial investment is $4,000, and so that's what we plug in for P, which is the initial amount. The amount of time that the investment was in the account was 10 years, and the annual interest rate was 7%. But we'll need to convert this percent to a decimal by moving the decimal to the left 2 places. So let's plug all these values into our formula and then calculate the maturity value. Again, A is the unknown quantity, so nothing gets plugged in for A. We'll plug 4,000 in for the initial principal, and then following the formula, we have times 1 plus, plugging in 0.07 for our R, which is the annual interest rate. Then we plug in 4 for the value of N, which is the number of compounding periods in 1 year. And then we'll raise that to a power that is, again, 4 times the time in years, which was 10. So we have 4 times 10 in the exponent. And now we use our calculator to determine what this value is. So let's type in what we see. 4,000 times 1 plus 0.07 divided by 4, close the parentheses, and then we'll raise that to the 4 times 10 power. And this gives us $8,006, and we'll round this to 39 cents. Rounding it to 2 decimal places makes sense for a financial model. So again, that end amount is $8,006.39. In Part B, the only thing that we're changing is that we're compounding monthly. So again, the maturity value or the end amount is our unknown, so we hold that spot with a variable. We plug 4,000 in for the initial principal times 1 plus 0.07. This time we're going to be dividing by 12 and raising that to the 12 times 10 power. Again, changing only the number of compounding periods. So let's plug this into our calculator. So again, we have 4,000 times 1 plus 0.07 divided by 12 this time, and then raise that to the 12 times 10 power. This time we have $8,038.65. Notice we make a little bit more money when we're compounding more times in a year. The sooner we start earning interest, the sooner we start earning interest on that interest, and so the more compounding periods we have in the year, the more interest we will earn. Now in Part C, we're compounding continuously. And when we compound continuously, that is the trigger that tells us we need to use the other compounding interest formula, which is A is equal to P raised to the RT power. And in order to determine the interest earned in this situation, we again are going to plug 4,000 in for the initial principal. The value E is not a variable. This is a constant quantity that's approximately equal to 2.718. You never plug anything in for E. Then we'll raise the E to the annual interest rate, which is 0.07, multiplied by the number of years that the money is in the account, which is 10. We plug this into our calculator, and we get 4,000 times second E raised to the power is located over the ln button, so we'll say second ln to get that E raised to a power function. And then we're looking at 0.07 times 10 in the exponent. And then when we hit enter, we get a little bit more money than we had when we were compounding monthly. In the compounding continuously scenario, we start earning interest right away, which means that we're earning interest on that interest right away. And while it's not much more than the first two scenarios, it is a little bit more than both of them.